This is where we belong.
Hi guys, and welcome to another video with Xander Freemaker. I kept promising myself I will not make another Starfield video, and I'm failing every time. I think it's because, okay, fine, I purchased this as a pre-order, and also I've been waiting for the ultimate space game. Which this could be. I don't want to praise this game too much, because if it doesn't turn out to be, what I think it is, then I'm going to be very disappointed. So I don't want to sort of like. Well, I think I've already, taken it over the top anyway. And I'm not alone. I think many people have, but I can only talk about myself. So on that, I'm trying to keep it cool, or staying as cool as possibly can, and to be frankly honest, it's not working. So today we're going to be talking about Starfield, but more accurately about shattered space, and this is really what this video is about, and this is kind of my part 2 of the first video that I did called Shattered. Also, there will be elements from the previous video to Shattered as well. There were theories that I came up with, which is where a lot of people said I was wrong, which I think have been proven to be true. So there's that, which I want to also bring into this video as well. But not only will I say what parts I were true about, I will actually show you. And I also want to show you where these artifacts can be found. I know that's a big revelation, and I will present my findings as evidence A, evidence B, evidence C, and so on, because I want to compile everything to the best of my ability when presenting you with the facts on not just where the first artifact will be found, the second, and I think, and it's only a think, where the third one is. So just bear with me, and I will present everything in the best format possible. Okay then, so where do we begin? Well, we have to go back right to the beginning, and we're talking 2050, and this is where humans first arrive on Mars, and by 2100 they're living there. So that much, we have to go that far back first for us to move forward. Okay, so we fast forward a bit, and in 2275 we all know that Constellation is formed. Alright, so they get a whole bunch of guys together and they form this group, but of course then we say about 20 something years later, Barrett joins. So he's still a young chappie, you know what I mean? So he's a pretty young guy, and he's doing whatever missions that Constellation sent him out on. All right, but it's not 5 years later that Constellation comes into possession of its first artifact. So my original video where I say, well, Constellation might have its own artifact, I was right, that they did actually have their own artifact, but they stored it away in the archives, forgetting about it. All right, they forgot all about it, gathering dust. It's in the cupboard, just like in the movie The Raiders of the Lost Ark. When the government of America gets hold of it, they just store it away in a big warehouse. Same thing here with the artifact. So it's not till 2319 when Sarah Morgan becomes the head of the UC, Navigator Corps, and that doesn't last long either, but eventually she's taken on by Constellation. She becomes, in charge of that group officially by 2325, and then it's not until a year later that Barrett, who now is a much older man, he's done all these adventures, seen space, he's back at Constellation, and he discovers these artifacts, wipes off the dust, or blows off the dust, and looks at it and says, you know what, this looks important. That's pretty much his, if anybody found anything stored away in the back of a warehouse and wondering why this is here, and you might say to yourself, well, this must be important. And that's his impression. So there's that. But then even then, I can tell you now that he probably just put it one side and forgot about it himself, because it wasn't too much later then Barrett then comes back into the scene in regards to those artifacts. So he's off again, back on he didn't like forget about it, but what can he do with these artifacts? He knows nothing about them. So he goes about his normal business or normal duties with Constellation. Of course, convinces the people at Constellation to get hold of this base station, which they then call the Eye. So to present day 2330. So I hope you're keeping up with me. I'm sorry if I've lost you, but keep up with me, and I think you'll like what you're about to hear. So now we're in 2330. Humans are living on Mars. The main character, what is he? He's no astronaut, he's no pilot, he's a chef. That's right, you heard me, a chef. And I'll show you the evidence for that as well. And what happens is, just like anybody in a job, they want to get promoted, they want to do something a little bit different. He's tired of probably cooking for everyone. So he gets a job in the mines. He takes that job, alright? He takes that job. And why do I know that he gets this job? Well, I tell you why. Because if you pre-ordered this game, a bonus pack you get is the Mars pack. Now the Mars pack consists of what? Your cutting drill, I think a helmet, and I think there's another item. I'm talking about this with no script. I'm just working from memory here, boys. So just bear with me. So anyway, we know he gets a helmet. Now the next scene we're about to see is where he's cutting into the rock, and then the scene after that, he finds the first artifact and he touches it, something happens to him, he passes out, and then the scene begins with his co-mates asking him, do you remember this, or blah de blah blah. And here's that scene.
Hey, come on. Okay, take it easy. You were out cold. No physical damage. Mentally, the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors? Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
If you notice in that scene, you can see the woman holding the artifacts in her hand. So this proves that he found the artifacts on Mars. Okay? The only way I can be proven wrong is when we actually play the game. But I'm pretty confident now, and I think many of you will agree with me. The first artifact will be found on Mars.
Chef to Dusty. The crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
Okay, so you can see here, his colleague is saying, hey, you've gone from being a chef to doing this job. Not everyone gets it. So, he was given an opportunity. But the next scene after this, and this is kind of guesswork, alright? This is where Barrett finds out that someone's found an artifact. And here's the scene for that as well.
So, you found something?
A new guy found it.
You dug up the artifact, right? That means you saw it. The visions?
So, you can see now that Barrett doesn't know who this guy is, which is you, okay? And he's touched this artifact, and the artifact is talking to him, and Barrett is now convinced that the artifact that he found stored away in the archives of Constellation is now coming together. And of course he meets his colleague, who then he's basically informing him that, hey, yeah, the artifact is talking to him, blah de blah blah, let's get back home. So they go back to Constellation. Now this is where things get interesting, okay? Because now that the main character is now being introduced to Constellation, and they're asking him now put down the artifacts that he found along with the artifacts they already have. And of course, we all know what happens. Everything starts to go magic-y. And of course they probably ask many questions, and the story, we don't know what's the entire content of that scene is, but we have an idea. And of course, they agree that, okay, no problem, we will stick with you until you find another artifact. now the real adventure begins. This is where now he's not a chef anymore. He is now going to become an explorer. He's now joined the team. Whether he cooks for them on his own ship, well, that's another story. But the point I'm trying to make is that the original idea where I said, okay, I think maybe Constellation may have its own, artifact is true. Number one. Number two, that the first artifact is found on Mars, and that's where the story begins, on Mars. That's number two. Or evidence A, evidence B. You see how doesn't really matter how you look at it. Okay, I hope everything up to now has been, making sense. So the next part of the story that I have kind of assembled together and should kind of pan out in this video is where he now finds the second, possibly the third. Now this doesn't really come in any order. So, let's say for example he finds the second and I think it's the third, or he finds the third and it actually is the second. That's irrelevant here. What's relevant here is where he finds the next artifact. And that is probably a moon orbiting Saturn. Now, but there is another planet which is very similar, but it looks more, shall we say, deserty. So it could be another one on Mars, but I don't think so. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is somewhere else. But the reason why I say there's a second and third is because in the third one, okay, and I think it will be the third, is where he finds a kind of structure, not naturally made, alien made, or I don't think it's human made, and where he actually enters the gate. And I've got the footage for that, which is playing, and I'll keep repeating those. I'll keep repeating that footage time and time again, so you can all see what I'm trying to get across. And that is pretty much it. Because now, what planets are we talking about? Well, one of them I thought was probably Saturn, and then of course I found some more footage to confirm that it probably is Saturn. But then of course there's another planet which looks similar to one of the moons orbiting Saturn, but it's not Saturn. So this could be somewhere totally different. But there's also another planet where the planet is kind of more deserty. And I thought to myself, well, maybe this is still on Mars, but I doubt that. So the question is this the second or the third, or is it just the second? So this kind of where things do muddle up a little bit. I think it's clear to see Bethesda has been able to show us not one, not two, but 3 locations of where these artifacts are. Now it's taken me a long time to get through all the footage that is out there. So really, it's all a mumbo jumbo. It's kind of, we don't know what comes first or what comes after. We won't find out until the 6th of September. But I think it's clear that I'm kind of on track here. Now, of course, in my very first ever, Starfield video, I was told I was wrong. Didn't know what I was talking about. And I haven't even, had the time to even look at the videos where they've had these question and answers and stuff like that. I'm sure there were like millions of questions which were brilliant, and of course the answers were just as good. And I haven't looked at those videos, so I'm just working off the cuff here from what I've seen and what I could gather together. This is only my point of view. So, if you want to say I'm wrong, that's fine. If you have evidence to say that I'm wrong, that's fine as well. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game. You know what I mean? When, laws are not going to change, the planet's not going to fall out of sync, everything's going to, be the same. But the idea that the first one is on Mars, the second could be on a moon orbiting Saturn, and the third one, of course, I don't know where it is, but this is definitely a location where you can find another artifact. So that's my video. I would love to hear what you have to say. I'm sure I've left out stuff that I wanted to add, because I really don't want to make any more videos on Starfield. But saying that, there will be one more video, because I have ordered something special. It's just arrived, and I haven't even opened it yet. Well, I did open the box, but the item inside, I didn't touch it. I just want to make sure that, you know, if I had to open the box like properly, and it turned out to be, I don't know, pens, then, you know, I would look stupid on video. So anyway, this will be revealed in my next video. I'm not going to talk about, you know, any, you know, conspiracy theories or any other theories that I might have, but I think you'll enjoy that video too. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you know, leave a comment. I'm more than happy. Don't say anything malicious. It'll just leave bad taste in everyone's mouth. There's no need for that. Add more context to what I've done. If you agree with what I've done and you want to add more context to it, that's great, because we're all in this together. You know, let's work as a team. You know, I told you the next video, when I do make about Starfield, it's going to be the game. Of course, the people are already downloading it today, because it is the 17th of August. And I think definitely for Steam, because since I bought it through Steam, I don't get to download it until the 30th of August, and we get to play it on the 6th. I don't even know what day is the 6th, but let me just check my... Alright, that's a Wednesday. So Wednesday the 6th of September, I'm going to be playing this game. So I'm going to have to make arrangements, get all my work done at the factory, sort out all the manufacturing that needs to be sorted out, and then I'm going to get on this game, do some physical exercise. Kind of need to do that, because I'm going to be up late playing this game, the first one, and it's going to get recorded, and it will be posted here on my YouTube channel. So until next time, ciao for now. Just a question for everyone: did this guy just get Jedi powers?